So I wanted to make this video reaching out to the US government, and I know it's executive, legislative, and judicial, but I need to refer to some sort of entity for this, so I'm just going to call you a collective US government. Sorry if this doesn't apply to everybody. I know you guys take a lot of heat because of Donald Trump's decision, so sorry about that. As a channel of divine truth, nobody was freaking out about nuclear war more than me, because I see that as an alternate reality for us, where if Donald Trump stays president, his egoic decisions end up getting us blown up. So divine intervention does happen. It's in the process of happening in order to help the American people. Why? Because our free will was manipulated. We were set up to fail from the start. Because of the DNC fraud and, the Hillary Clinton, Deborah Wasserman Schultz business, and because of the Russian interference via our media, our free will was manipulated and we were given a choice of dark versus dark, which is not representative of human free will. So that's one of the reasons why the divine is intervening. People are set up to fail all the time, but this has catastrophic global nuclear results, which is why the divine is intervening, because number one, you can't mess with human free will, and number two, it ends up in nuclear warfare. So if you are outside the United States, please know that this is not an American thing where the divine is like favoring us. It escalates to a global issue. So he's protecting you via us, starting with us. So again, I think it's important to be really open and authentic in updating everybody on what's going on with the divine. I personally have been pretty frustrated with this plan because I know he's really big on teaching people and he moves at his own pace. Everything happens in divine timing. But he's really, really big on teaching and showing people things and making sure that we learn in the process. So this isn't just about, picking up somebody and putting them in the presidential seat. This is about everybody learning and growing and evolving as souls as a result of this whole situation. So one of the things I wanted to share with you guys is that I was watching the healthcare debate, the Graham-Cassidy healthcare bill. So I was watching the Republicans debate, Bernie Sanders, and the divine showed up and he said, "Christine, I want to point something out to you." I said, "Yeah." And he said, "You know how only 20% of Americans actually support this Graham-Cassidy healthcare bill?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Why are they looking to pass it?" And he said, "Aren't they interested in what the people think? Aren't they interested in the fact that only 20% of Americans, according to the most recent poll, support it?" And he said, "Why don't they care?" And I said, "'Cause they don't." And he said, "Well, that doesn't work for me." It was basically God saying, why aren't the Republicans listening to the people? And that's really the question that he's been asking since day one. The DNC isn't listening to the people. They can pick their candidate if they want. Wrong. This is a democracy. Is anyone listening to the fact that the Russians interfered in our election via the media? Facebook, Twitter, whatever. Does anyone care about that? That's another truth. So I'm sure the people care about that. Does the government? Oh, well, whatever, election's over and done. No precedent for that in the Constitution, so let's just keep moving forward. It's like, I got news for you. Donald Trump stays president. We keep moving forward. We blow up. So something has to change. And we need to have a fair election is what really has to change. We need to have an election that's fair to the people and representative of human free will. So number one, the US government's getting in trouble for having an unfair election that's not representative of human free will, per the divine. Not happy about that. He's not happy about the travel ban. He's not happy about the immigration, laws, the DACA, healthcare bill, obviously. He's basically saying that you guys just don't care about us and you just do whatever the heck you want. So as far as the divine is concerned, the US government's karma is out of balance with the people because they're not listening to us and they're just doing their own thing and not really caring. So what the divine intends to do is place the people in a position of power over the US government. This is an absolute. It's going to happen, and I wish I could take my experience with universal energies out of my brain and stick it in yours. I can't. The best way I can describe it is momentum enthusiasm. The divine is mobilizing the collective consciousness to literally just take over. And the way I would have to describe what's going to happen is like a bunch of children who just found out mommy and daddy don't love them. And so you're looking at a nation losing respect for you. You're going to lose their support, their admiration. You're going to basically lose power over people. Now, why is this a big deal? Because you losing your power and influence over the people is actually backed by the divine. The people have the divine support in rising up against you. So I feel like it's my responsibility to let you know that energetically this is what's going to happen, because the divine is accusing you guys of abuse of power. He's saying, you don't care about the people, you're abusing your power, therefore I'm going to take your power away from you. And I guess one of the things that I'm concerned about is that I see this energetic shift happening where the people are going to be placed in a position of power over you. And I'm trying to figure out a path that you can give them. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is you guys need to figure it out. You guys need to get together in a room and talk about the 2016 election, determine that it was fraudulent, and have another election ASAP. The reason I'm telling you this is because I feel like it's going to benefit you guys by having a formal second election, because you'll be giving the divine what he wants, and you'll be respecting human free will, and you'll be respecting the American people by doing that. You will also be embracing the truth in the process by having another election. You'll be like, all right, these are our truths. We have to grab onto them. These truths warrant a second election. I don't care what you guys have to do. Add a couple sentences to the Constitution. Hey, a second election is unprecedented, but we, the people of the United States, agree that we need one. XOXO! Sign, right? And just add like a couple sentences in there to the Constitution. But I don't really care what you guys have to do in order to make a second election happen. But this has to happen. The alternative is blowing up, which I'm sure you guys don't really want to. Hole in the ozone, all that good stuff. I'm sure you guys don't want that alternate reality. And I'm sure you don't want an alternate reality of total anarchy, where people are just going to rise up against you because they're going to realize that they're on United 93, and they're going to realize that they have to bum rush the cockpit. So I guess what I'm trying to avoid is people bum rushing the cockpit, and instead the cockpit door opening up and saying, guys, come on, can we talk about this for a second before you bum rush us? I think that's really what I, Christine Pavlina, am trying to say to you guys. Is, can you just have a second election? Because if you don't really give us one soon, the people are just going to rise up against you anyway. And the reason is the divine is encouraging the collective consciousness to embrace their truths. The election was fraudulent. You have a narcissist for a president who has no empathy, whose ego gets you blown up. It's the reality of the situation. You've got a government that doesn't give a crap about you, that's abusing their power over you, and that the dark is taking over our country. So this is the light's way of taking back control of the country. And the thing is if you're someone who has been following all my videos for a while, you're going to see everything start weaving together like a braid. You're going to start realizing the importance of the higher self, the importance of the truth, the importance of the light, the importance of not letting go of the truth, the importance of a collective truth versus a personal truth, such as it's Bernie Sanders' life purpose to be president, so that's his personal truth, that's his sole purpose. So you're going to start seeing everything weave together like a tapestry, and it's all going to start making sense. So you are going to realize that this truly is a divine plan to help the masses, to teach, educate, inspire the masses, and save our lives and the globe's lives. Preserve everyone, not just Americans. But you're gonna see the divine strategy in what I'm saying and the words coming out of my mouth. You're gonna see it. And I guess at the end of the day, one of the things that I really, really want to stress, and I know that I haven't been that great about doing this, you know, when the divine shows up, it's like scales of justice. You know, like when he showed up during the healthcare debate, it was like the hammer coming down in scales of justice. Like, this is not okay, you know? Number one was the message. Number two was, well, Christine, teacher's going to teach, but now it's time to experience that energetic shift and have the people start rising up. And the people start rising up because they just realize, like, this isn't okay. Like, what you guys are doing just isn't okay. So you're going to have, like, a lot of, you know, rebellion, protests, you know, that kind of thing. And, like I said, they have the support of the divine behind them. So it ends up spreading. It ends up growing. And it's supposed to happen because the divine is encouraging people to do it. He encourages therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists to speak out about narcissism because our president is a narcissist who makes egoic decisions. So the person at the helm of the ship is mentally unhealthy. That's our truth also. So when you have a nation filled with people who do realize their lives are in danger, you got a problem. You got a problem. So I'm asking you guys to figure out a way to give us a second election. So that was the first thing, is like when the divine showed up while I was watching CNN, it was, you know, the pursuit of truth and karmic balancing, giving the power back to the people. And secondly, it was just love, just pure love energy. I have your back. I'm protecting you guys. I'm taking care of you. You are loved and you're going to be okay. Your free will was tampered with. You're going to be okay. Okay, so that was the second thing. And the third thing was, I'm ready to move forward. And that was one of my personal frustrations that I have voiced in previous videos, is he really respects human free will. And that's what was driving me crazy, is I wanted to jump on Bernie Sanders' back and, you know, get him to join the People's Party sooner than later. He's still supposed to do that. I wanted to jump on Donald Trump's back and get him to make a decision based in self-love and step down, because he was never supposed to be president. You know, I wanted to jump on Mark Foster's back and try and get him to speak his truth. So I'm not allowed to do that because they respect human free will. So all of this respecting human free will thing just felt like a lot of talk, a lot of chit chat, a lot of passive energy. So when he showed up, he did make a point of letting me know. It's like, okay, I'm ready for less talk and more action now. So he kind of showed me how I'm a teacher. And so he's like, your show and tell. He said, you know, if you're a teacher, it's show and tell. So you're going to continue telling, but now it's time to start showing. So people are going to start seeing that momentum show up behind the people in that rebellion. So that's why I did want to make this video, just reaching out to the U.S. government and letting you know the shift that's taking place. I really do hope you give us a second election. The divine has wanted that for a while. And another thing that he's trying to show everybody is that this is a false reality. This reality is not real. It's fake. What you see in front of you is actually an illusion because it's all based on falsities and lies. So the truth is the light. The truth is what's real. And that's why the divine is asking us to grab onto that truth, because that's what's real. So us having this false illusion and being guided forward by the dark does lead to our demise. So we do need to take this battle of light versus dark very seriously, which I do. Now, I do sound like the town crier. I know that. And it's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to elicit fear. If Donald Trump stays president, we all blow up. We're screwed. Ah! You know, let everyone get under the couch. It's like, that's not it. I'm not trying to elicit fear. I'm trying to pull out your personal power and say you can change it. You have the power to change the future. But I need you to get off the couch and I need you to care. And I need you to grab onto the truth. We are being presented with so many truths that we need another election. And we need to grab onto that sooner than later. Much sooner than later. But that's really what they wanted to let you guys know, is this reality is fake. The other side doesn't acknowledge a president who is the result of a fraudulent election that manipulated human free will. Doesn't even acknowledge the election. The divine is saying, do you want it done now or do you want it done right? He's calling it a farce, like saying that was not an election. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if the U.S. government doesn't respect the American people enough to give us a second election, the divine's going to find another way. And he's going to put us in a position of power over you guys. So you guys have free will, but free will has consequences. So that's why I feel like there's just been like a lot of talk and not a whole lot of action. I feel like the divine has just been sitting there watching you guys and taking notes. What are you doing? What are you not doing? Are you listening to the people? So as far as the U.S. government is concerned, you got a major problem on your hands. A narcissist at the helm of the ship who gets us killed, and a bunch of American people who are going to start realizing that more and more and more and more, and they're going to rise up against you. So, like I said, I encourage you guys to figure it out. I know that there are legal channels and, proper protocol for this. I don't really care, because I don't really feel like getting blown up. So I'm asking you guys to use your logical mind. Yeah, use that logic. Use that cold hard logic. Doesn't take a psychic to know. We don't want to blow up. So if Donald Trump stays president, we do. So you need somebody else in that seat. Because we don't want the dark taking over our country like it is. So this is the light fighting back, luckily. And that was the heads up that I wanted to give you guys. I also just want to be clear that this video is from me, Christine Pavlina. I feel like I'm doing the U.S. government a favor by letting you guys know divine strategy, what's about to happen with regards to universal energies. And I understand I'm a big fat weirdo who's easily dismissed. I'm asking you not to dismiss me. Mark Foster would have been better off if he followed the divine guidance I provided him. Donald Trump would have been better off if he followed the divine guidance I provided him. Bernie Sanders, I really hope he joins the People's Party sooner than later, because he's attracting crap to himself right now via the law of attraction. So I need everyone to align themselves with their personal truths as well. So you're going to see how the divine guidance I provided for them would have helped them if they had listened to me. So please, U.S. government, listen to me, because you will be better off. We all will, if you just give us a second election. So I guess that's really what I wanted to say to you guys. I know that we're going to be okay because the divine intervenes and figures it out, but we need another election. You can't mess with human free will. You can't. It's a huge no-no. We need another election. So, like I said, God bless America. And in the meantime, take care and be well. Thank you.